Oh god.
And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Rankum. Today we're doing comic book movies. But before I talk about the conditions I kind of set for my panel for this, I'm going to actually introduce my panel.
Today we do.
But we've got Chris Diaz. Chris, how's it going?
Doing
Sorry,
good.
you guys are
Yeah.
lagging pretty bad for me right now. I'm having a hard time hearing anything.
Am I lagging?
Am I lagging?
Any better?
I'm here. Also here we've got Ryan. Ryan, how's it going?
Despite our little technical difficulties we may or may not be having in the studio talking to our producers over here, I'm doing well, sir. Thanks for having me. This is a hot topic. There's going to be some hot takes.
I'm gonna.
I think, Eric, you may need to jump back out and jump back in. I'm not sure. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, I'm just happy to be here. Let's have a good time and talk comic book movies.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to
respectfully,
leave and come back. You guys are lagging so bad I can't hear anything.
That's the beauty of live television. Anything can happen on any given night, folks, especially when it's a holiday known as Independence Day here in the US of A.
But yeah, we're having a bit of technical difficulties at the start, and as always, when we go live, something ends up happening. But also here we've got Stephen. Stephen, how's it going?
It's going good. This is my third time on. Does that make me a regular?
I mean, it's one of those ones like yes and no. I mean, it's like I try to get different have a different guests that depending on the topic. Some like it seems to be some topics are more popular than others, but we've also got Zedius here. Zedius, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. And you know what? In my eyes, man, you might not be a regular, but at least makes you a vet. Because I've been here a couple of times. I consider myself a vet of Rankum. Not here every week, but just enough so everybody can leave. You always got to leave them wanting a little bit more, I guess. So that's what I say.
But last but not least, we've got our special guest, Schmodown legend, Eric Zipper. Eric, how's it going?
Hey guys, sorry I disappeared for a second there. My internet is in a bad mood apparently, but other than that, it's going all right. I'm excited for this. Let's fight. Let's argue about comic book movies.
Right?
But how this show works is we go around and nominate a comic movie we think belongs on a top 12 list, and then at the end we rank them. Because it got 6 people here, the person nominating the movie, they vote, they're going to have to count on everyone else to say yes to it. And the majority, if it has majority yeses, then it makes the list. Also, the conditions I set for this one is only one comic book movie per franchise, so only one MCU. With some areas, I've said I'll use Batman as an example of like the Batman quad. That's one franchise. Nolan trilogy is another franchise, and then DCEU is its own thing, depending on how messy it wants to be. But yeah,
seems unfair to the MCU, which has 23 movies, but whatever, it's fine.
I mean, it's one of those ones. I kind of did it because I was afraid we're going to end up with half the list being MCU.
Probably.
I wanted to show some love to some of the other ones that don't often get mentioned a lot around the board. So, but Eric is our guest, so Eric, you can vote the first movie.
Oh, okay. I mean, hopefully no one will argue with this. I think, in my opinion, the best comic book movie ever made is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So that's my first nomination.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is on the table. Zedius, what do you say?
Well, I might not agree with the first part of that, but I mean, I love the movie 100%. So it's pretty up high on my list. So it's a definite yes for me.
Stephen, what do you say about Spider-Verse?
What's going on? Do you guys?
I
Are
don't
you
know.
guys here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know. I'm hearing the voices echo.
I mean, I can't hear an echo, so it might be on your end. Do you still have the stream up or something?
Let me.
But anyway, Steve, what do you say about Spider-Verse?
I'll say yes. I enjoyed it a lot, and I always get a kick out of movies involving parallel universes.
Ryan, what do you say about Spider-Verse?
Well, considering I've been a fan of the Web Slinger since our year of our Lord, 1994, when that little show called Spider-Man on Fox Kids premiered, and it's one of the best animated series ever made, I respect it, but unfortunately, I have never seen this movie, so I'm going to have to abstain and say no.
Chris, what do you say about Spider-Verse?
This is
Yeah, I
my
know. I know. The comment section's already on fire. It's okay.
my favorite Spider-Man movie up to date. This is incredible, really funny, really inventive. Had to say, yeah, in this case, still the movie Spider-Man Noir. They repeated Millennia at Spider-Man. Great emotional and a bunch of great line and great, probably more emotionally ever invested in Spider-Man movie. All of them.
But yeah, I also would suggest the Spider-Verse. I really love this movie. It's so great. But Zedius, we go to you for your next nomination. Your first nomination.
Okay, yeah. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was definitely a great pick. And I'm hoping that this pick will make it. And I don't think a lot of people can disagree. I just think people disagree on like where it places in a certain trilogy sometimes. But I'm just gonna throw this out here, and I think it should. Night when it came out was one of those movies that was just really majestic when it came out, and that's not counting that everything that went into the movie, but just I remember watching the movie from the beginning of the movie. I felt so tense in the beginning with the whole school bus and bank sequence to the end, and I love this movie, and I'm drawing the Dark Knight out there.
Dark Knight is on the table. Stephen, what do you say about the Dark Knight?
Well, since it's actually not my favorite movie of the three, but my favorite of the three doesn't have a chance of getting picked, so I'll say yes for the Dark Knight.
Ryan, what do you say about the Dark Knight?
Well, I did a rewatch of this trilogy so I could be prepared for other shows that may come down the pipe, such as this one. Great timing, by the way. I enjoyed The Dark Knight more this time around than I did the last time I watched it, so I'll give it that. But unfortunately, don't think it's one of the better Batman movies. I wouldn't put it in the top, of my favorite Batman movies. I wouldn't put it on this list. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to give The Dark Knight no. Still think it's a bit overrated. I think there's some other Batman films out there that are much better than this one, but that's just me.
So far, that's 1-1 for Dark Knight. Chris, what do you say about the Dark Knight?
I am back and forth between this and one other Batman movie. But we say with franchise. I gotta say yes because Heath Ledger's performance great story. I love The Dark Knight. I saw it again like a couple years back when we watched, and I still love the film today. Just like yes, because this is tough. There's a lot of good stuff on here. Just like yes, right now.
I'm saying yes to the Dark Knight. This is one that it's not my favorite of the trilogy, but I said to myself I was going to say yes to either this one or Batman Begins, whichever happened to come up first. But yeah, I think Dark Knight is a good movie. I said to myself I was going to say yes
See, that's why.
this one or Batman Begins, whichever happened to come up first. But yeah.
I was scared of that. That's why I said it now.
Eric, what do you say about the Dark Knight?
I actually agree. I do think I kind of slightly prefer Batman Begins. I think The Dark Knight is a good movie that is only really elevated to greatness by Heath Ledger's performance, and that it's a better gangster movie than it is a Batman movie, and all of those arguments. But I am down with having one of the Nolan movies represented on the list. And I think The Dark Knight is as good a choice as any, as long as it's not The Dark Knight Rises. I have beef with that movie. But Dark Knight, I'm going to vote yes.
Stephen, what is your next first nomination?
Not Dark Knight Rises. Beef with that movie. But Dark Knight, I'm going to vote yes.
Yeah, I think you might need to cut it off.
Stephen, what is your next first nomination?
Dark Knight, I'm going to vote. Oh yeah, I hear that echo now.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Echoes, and I think Steven's lagging.
First nomination.
Yeah.
I can't hear you, Stephen. So
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Echoes, and I think Steven's lagging.
It's like we're accepting right now.
What I'll do is I'll let you sort out your mic and that, Stephen. I'll go with Ryan first, and I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Oh, I heard you. What's your nomination?
Well, I recently rewatched this a couple months ago since it's on Disney Plus, and I think it's a movie from my childhood, but I think still holds up. So I'm gonna nominate The Rocketeer.
Ooh.
Ryan, what do you say about The Rocketeer?
All right. I, like many of you, grew up watching this movie as a kid. I grew up having a crush on someone named Jennifer Connelly. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of her. She's very beautiful in this movie. She's been beautiful in almost every movie she's ever appeared in the course of her career. Even the Eric Bana Hulk. I'll give you that, Jennifer. But here's the thing. If we're going to go with top 12 of all time, unfortunately, I don't think The Rocketeer would make it to that top 12 list. So unfortunately, as much as I enjoy this movie, just did a rewatch of it a few weeks ago to, hey, relive memories for old time's sake. Timothy Dalton, good to see you again, man. And as much as I love Jennifer Connelly, you're gorgeous. I got to give it a no. There's other movies out there that I think belong in this list. Unfortunately, don't think Rocketeer is going to be one of them, so I'm going to give it a no.
Chris, what do you say about The Rocketeer?
I just saw this for the first time this year. I love The Rocketeer. Really good movie. I had to give it a no because it top 12, and I need to see it more time to see where it falls on my list. And my honorable mention. Really good movie. Timothy Dalton, everybody agree. I bet Timothy Dalton comic performance on that TV, but still a great movie. But Flight, no, it pained me, but really good movie.
I also have seen The Rocketeer for the first time this year, and I think it's a good movie. But I'm going to say no as well. Eric, what do you say about The Rocketeer?
Is it me? Sorry, I had some lagging going on again. I'm having a hard time hearing. I did not grow up watching The Rocketeer. I never watched it as a kid. I saw it for the first time about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't put it on my best of all time list, and so I'm gonna have to vote no.
And Zedius, what would you have said about The Rocketeer?
Yeah, that would have been no for me as well. I remember seeing it as a kid, and I thought about this movie, but in the top 12, maybe not even top 20-ish, I'm like, nah. It was good for its time, but I've seen so much better since, So, yeah, no.
Yeah. Sadly, The Rocketeer doesn't make this list. Ryan, what is your first nomination?
Well, we've had a few different movies with different characters on this list so far, so that's good. But you know what? I'm going to circle back around to someone, a character name we've heard before. It's called Batman. But more specifically, I'm going to go with a movie that was really, really creepy when I watched it as a kid. It scared a little bit of the heck out of me, especially the voice actor for this movie. But man, I think this movie holds up. I think this movie is great when it focuses on the present timeline, as well as giving you flashbacks as to how these characters came to be, the characters that we all know them. or know them as. So I'm going to go with Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I'm going to go with that one. Why? Because it has great flashbacks, tells a great origin story of Batman himself, tells a great origin story of the villain, a great origin, well, not a great origin, but a bit of a tidbit, a little bit of a hint into the origin of the clown prince of crime known as the Joker. So I'm going to go Batman Mask of the Phantasm 93. Let's kick it 90s style.
Chris, what do you say about Mask of the Phantasm?
So this was the film I watched for this list because I never seen it before, and it went on Netflix this week. I freaking love this movie. This is probably my one or two of my favorite Batman movie all the time. It's very animated, very creative. You get Batman emotional turmoil. The scene when he begging his parents to let him go, I had to get to this promise he made to them. It's so emotionally invested to who Batman is. The villain is great. Andrea is a great female love interest flat antagonist a little bit. The ending is great. It's like what Batman is, and honestly, besides Christopher Nolan trilogy, the only one that got Batman and Bruce Wayne right. And I think it did it better than Nolan did. Showing both sides provides flashback great. Joker great, Mark Hamill kill it in his voice acting. It's had a little continuity problem here and there. It's still a great movie. Definitely a hell yes for me. Love this film.
Yeah. I saw Master of the Phantasm for the first time last year. Like Ryan, King of the Hot Takes. I'm not a big fan of Mask of the Phantasm. I never grew up with Batman the Animated Series as a kid. I mean, I don't know if I needed to see the series to like this movie more, but yes, I'm saying no. Eric, what do you say about Mask of the Phantasm?
Comment section's on fire now.
Well, the last time I saw Mask of the Phantasm, I was about 7 years old. And I don't really remember it. Honestly, I don't feel qualified to give a vote. So much like you did with Spider-Verse, I'm going to have to take a pass and say no on this one. I remember it being good, but I remember like no details of any kind. So pending a rewatch, I'm going to have to say no. Although I'm sure I would love it if I watched it again.
Zedius, what do you say about Master of the Phantasm?
Ooh, now I did grow up with the animated series and love the series. I like the movie, not love, so I can't throw it up here in the top 12 of comic book movies of all time. I'm sorry, man.
With that, Master of the Phantasm does not make this list. Stephen, what would you have said?
Well, I don't watch a lot of superhero animated stuff, but I did watch the Batman animated series as a kid, and I did like this movie a lot, so I probably would have said yes.
But I will say in the chat, another YNP just commented this, so he does like your pick. But Chris, what is your next nomination?
So we delve into a couple of DC, and we brought up only one Marvel movie. I don't bring up probably my favorite of this series. It's what we think is Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart's best performance. I bring up Logan. Logan is a great standalone X-Men movie connecting the X-Men universe. It's great, and Keen is fantastic as 23. The emotional turnaround over Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart gave almost like a Academy-worthy nomination performance in Logan. And I watched it recently. It's put us over the emotion, that punch at the end of Logan dying, with Professor X dying. Spoiler alert from a movie that came out.
All right.
But it's so good. Yeah, the villain not that great, but for X-Men movie to make it more about the drama and not just the action and give you emotional context to the thing, it's fantastic X-Men movie. My favorite X-Men movie. It's one of the best comic book movie last couple of years.
But yeah, we've got Logan is on the table. This is one that I'm going to say yes too. I think Logan is good. And a lot of the performances are really emotional, so I'm going to say yes. Eric, what do you say about Logan?
Logan is an easy yes for me. It's an incredible movie, and I don't like a ton of the X-Men movies. Like there are a couple of them that I enjoy, but most of them are not my favorite. But that movie rules. The performances are incredible. James Mangold is an incredible filmmaker. It's a great Western on top of being a great superhero movie. Yeah, that's an easy yes. I just thinking about the last shot of that movie makes me start tearing up. So there aren't a lot of comic book movies or superhero movies that I can say that about that I have that strong of an emotional reaction to. So yeah, that's 100% yes for me.
Zedius, what do you say about Logan?
Yeah, it's a definite yes for me. Unfortunately, I just rewatched this movie with all this free time that we have a couple weeks ago, and my only regret was that I didn't watch it in black and white because I had that option. But overall, it still hit me the same way that it did in theaters. I didn't cry this time, but it still hit me in the heart. So yes.
Stephen, what do you say about Logan?
Well, the Wolverine movies are separate from the X-Men movies, right?
Yes.
All right, then.
I mean, for the purposes of this, I'm arguing that the Wolverine trilogy is different from the X-Men main series. So, yeah.
Okay, but no. Thor and Captain America are in the same franchise. Whatever, it's fine.
I would have had to say no if it was included with X-Men, but since it's not, I'll say yes.
Ryan, what do you say about Logan?
Yeah, outside of the movies that have the title X-Men in the title, outside of that, with these spin-off films, whether they're the Wolverines or the Deadpools, Logan's the best of the bunch. So I would have to say yes. I mean, a girl who's only less than like 9-10 years old, Daphne Keane, to steal that show from Logan himself and Professor Xavier at the same time, that's not an easy thing to do, and Daphne Keane kills it. And it kind of ticks me off that she didn't get an Oscar for that, because man, her performance is just, she comes out of nowhere, puts out these claws, rips people's heads off, breaking necks, cashing checks, saving the day on numerous occasions throughout the freaking film. So yeah, Logan's a heck yes. And Daphne Keane, you're going to have a bunch of Oscars on your mantle someday. I just know it.
But yeah, Logan makes the list. And for my first nomination, I'm going to go back a little bit further because just to see if I can get something different on here. And I'm going to try and not make it a whole bunch of like the modernity. But
that could happen.
I'm going to bring up The Mask. Based on Flaming Carrot's comics, I think The Mask is a really great movie, and like Jim Carrey does what Jim Carrey does best and gives off a great performance, like he has done a lot in this. And like this is one of those ones in which I did not know what to think of it when I watched it for the first time as a kid, but I've rewatched it a few times since then, and it's has the same flair that as every time I watch it. The sequel is meh, but I'm not talking about the sequel. I'm talking about The Mask. Eric, what do you say about The Mask? Eric,
sorry, you guys cut out. You guys cut out for a second there again. I'm not just like sitting awkwardly. I mean, that is something I do, but you know what I mean. As far as The Mask goes, that's another one I haven't really seen since I was a kid. Comic book comedy like that. There's one that I probably will argue of later in over The Mask, so I like The Mask, but I'm going to have to go no.
Zedius, what do you say about The Mask?
Malcolm, I liked how you reach into your bag of comic book movies, and you just happened to pull out one of my top 10 favorite
Oh wow.
Congratulations. I love this movie. I feel like this movie, I saw it at a young age and I've seen it many times since. I feel like that movie has so much to do with Zadius, who you see today. So yes, I love Jim Carrey's performance in the movie. I love all the goofy antics of that movie, and yes, 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 yes.
Zedius, what do you say about the mask? Stephen, what do you say about the mask?
Oh,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Jim Carrey performances, and also great star-making performance from Cameron Diaz. So yeah, and of course the dog is great too.
Milo.
I know.
So
Yeah.
so yes.
Ryan, what do you say about the mask?
Look, Malcolm, I like it when people swing for the fences and pull a Hail Mary when it comes to this sort of stuff. But man, you're talking to the guy who quoted Jim Carrey movies in school when he was a kid. This guy did it. But man, as much as I like The Mask and as much as Jim Carrey inspired me to become an actor, and Cameron Diaz, did everybody have a crush on you in 1994 or 5 whenever this movie came out? Good heavens almighty. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say no. And that hurts because I'm a big Jim Carrey fan. But for this list, we were talking to the best of the best. Sorry, Mask isn't going to cut it. And I like that movie, and it's still fun and entertaining, but it's not top 12 material for this. So I'm going to have to say no. Sorry, Jim Carrey, and I'm definitely sorry to you, Cameron Diaz.
Chris, what do you say about the mask?
I love The Mask. I do. Do I consider it a comic book movie though? That's the hardest thing. I love it. It's one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies. I just have to say, kind of a little bit no, because mostly of it a comedy than a comic book movie. Despite how much I love Jim Carrey, how much I love the Kingdom beat sequences, the part sequences, a lot of scenes in the movie. It's just, slight no, it pained me to say that just because I consider it more a comedy than a comic book movie.
I mean, it's based on a comic book. Body the mask doesn't make the list. Eric, what is your next nomination?
Okay, so let's open up the whole MCU can of worms here for a second, because I have a feeling that you guys are all going to vote no on this because you all have your own MCU movie that you'd like to see on the list. But I just want to talk about how much I love this movie. I think that one of the best comic book movies ever is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It hits me. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it hits me in the emotions in a way that none of the other MCU movies do. That big final moment with Yondu and those last sequences, really just get me. And I also think the movie is thematically coherent and has things on its mind in a way that very few of the other MCU movies do. I think it's a movie that is very distinctly and coherently about parent-child relationships and unpacks those relationships in all kinds of really interesting ways through almost every single relationship in the movie. So to me, it's my personal easy choice for best MCU movie.
Zedius, what do you say about Guardians 2?
I think Guardians 2 after my second rewatch, I think it's a fine movie. It's just personally again, like it was prefaced. It wouldn't be mine to put on this list, so I'll say no.
Stephen, what do you say about Guardians 2?
I gotta say no, because I mean, if I'm gonna let in one MCU movie, I think there's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 movies that I could only say yes to, and Guardians 2 isn't one of them.
Ryan, what do you say about Guardians 2?
As far as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 goes, I have not seen this movie, nor do I really have any desire to see it, because I wasn't a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 to begin with, so I'm not a big Guardians fan. Unless they're an Avengers team-up movie, then I'll root for you. But in this case, Eric, congratulations. It got its 5 minutes of appreciation night for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but it's not going to make this list, because, at least in my mind, there are a lot of other films out there that will probably end up making it on this list. At least I hope so. But for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it's going to be a no.
Chris, what would you have said about Guardians 2?
Man, the Guardian 2, I like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 a lot. Not a great first one, don't mind you, but compared to some of the other kind of shitty sequel that wasn't named Survivor or Avengers sequel, it's one of the better sequels we have from Marvel stuff. It's really good, but we all, mostly everybody say no. I would have said yes because I do like it, but
Thank you.
yeah.
Someone here has taste.
I don't know. He said Full Ragnarok was a shitty sequel, so I don't know what.
I'm not a fan of Thor Ragnarok either.
Beyond Your Death.
Yeah,
he
Not
makes
not a big fan of Thor Ragnarok
One of the
myself.
most emotional death thing in any Marvel movie.
But then again, I know what Ryan feels about Taika Waititi movies. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm like there's about 6 MCU movies I had in my head that I would have said yes to for this. Guardians 2 was one of them, so I would have. I thought it was a great. I think it's a good movie. But Zedius, what is your next nomination?
Okay, now this one I had to double check to make sure, and I'm actually doing Snap just to make sure it is a comic book movie and a comic book, and it is limited series, but it's based off a comic book. And I just remember when I first saw this movie, and every time I've seen it since, I thought it was a great movie. Then I remember I tried to actually recite lines from this movie. I failed horribly at it. But even though it's July now, I will always, always, always remember the 5th of November. They
But V for Vendetta is on the table. Stephen, what do you say?
It's my third favorite comic book based movie, so definitely yes.
Ryan, what do you say about V for Vendetta?
I remember seeing it in the theaters when it came out, and I thought it was okay. It was fine. Didn't think it was the greatest thing since sliced bread necessarily, but it was fine. Natalie Portman was in it, I think. Yeah, no. For me, there are other comic book movies out there that I think are far superior to. Remember, the 5th of November. So I'm gonna have to say no, Evie. That's a no.
Chris, what do you say about V for Vendetta?
It's for my top child list. I love V for Vendetta. This is probably my favorite graphic novel adaptation. This for amazing film. Hugo Weaving fantastic. Natalie Portman, one of her best performers. Like everything performance in the movie is fantastic. It hold up to date to everything around today. And man, you talk about a film that sent chills down your spine. That's one of them. But even the flashback stuff is chilling. That's how we watch.
Was that a yes or no, Chris? So
Yes.
that's a yes. So I've got 2 yeses and 1 no for V for Vendetta. I love V for Vendetta. I think it is a great movie. And we'll probably get John Roker raining down fire on us if we say no. If we don't let it on, I'm going to say. I would have said yes to V for Vendetta regardless. But yeah, Eric, what do you say about V for Vendetta?
Well, it's already made the list, so it doesn't matter what I say. But I love the comic, and had issues with the movie as an adaptation. I think it's a good movie, but to me, it suffers in comparison to the comic. I think that if I'd never read the book, I might have liked it more. But I had little adaptation quibbles, so I probably would have voted no.
I think it's coming out.
But yeah, that was Zedia. So Stephen, what's your next nomination?
I'll nominate Road to Perdition, which at the time it came out in summer of 2002, I probably didn't even know it was based on a graphic novel, but it is. So that's my next choice.
Ryan, what do you say about Road to Perdition?
To see Tom Hanks as a gangster in this movie. Never thought I'd ever see it because Tom Hanks is a nice guy. He's America's dad, and he plays a gangster in this movie. That's something we've never seen before. But you know what? I haven't seen this movie in a hot minute, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to say no. Just because I haven't seen it in a long time, don't know how it would hold up right now. I can't say whether or not it would make this list, so I'm going to have to say no for the moment.
Chris, what do you say about Road to Perdition?
I love this movie. It's a fantastic movie. Paul Newman's fantastic in it. Tom Hanks is fantastic in it. And Craig's great in it. Like, it's a really good movie. I gotta say yes, because I think, in terms of stuff that from back then, this is one of the that hold up well today, and it's so good. But yeah.
But for my nomination, I'm going to bring up this comment because I haven't seen it.
There you go. There's the classic Malcolm that we all know on this show, ladies and gentlemen.
But Eric, what do you say about Road to Perdition?
I'm really torn on this one because I do think it's a really good movie. It's really good. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I haven't seen it probably since high school. I do think it's a great movie, and the only reason I'm inclined to go no is because there's another movie I want on the list that I kind of am not sure there's room for both of them. Oh man, this is a tough choice. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, yes, it's a good movie. Why not? Yeah.
Which means it's down to Zedius. What do you say on Road to Perdition? You're to decide.
Mostly, I just wanted to put the pressure on Zedius. That's really it.
Thanks a lot, Aaron. Thanks a lot. Because now, unfortunately, I have to say I haven't seen the movie. So,
Malcolm and Zadius, you got homework to do after the show tonight.
I want Aaron to be the bad guy in this situation, but now I'm sorry, man. I had to say no until watching.
Well,
I can't say even.
I don't know if it still is,
What's
but
that?
it was on Netflix. So
I mean, it's not on.
those
It's
who haven't
not
seen
on. Yeah, it's not on Netflix in New Zealand. It's one that I did try finding to watch for this. But yeah. But Ryan, what is your next nomination?
Man, we've had some curveballs thrown at me tonight, but hey, that's life. All right, you know what? I'm going to circle back around to a Marvel set of characters, a franchise that has certainly had its fair share of ups and downs. It's had its fair share of peaks and its valleys. But you know what? Some people say another film is the best of this, but I'm actually going to fight long and hard for this one because this one takes two generations of characters and puts them together in one movie, and they do it so well. Whether it's theatrical cut or whether it's the road cut, you're going to get a great comic book film in so many different ways, and I love it when a marketing campaign is good and the movie is even better, and I'm going to fight for it. X-Men Days of Future Past, the best X-Men movie, not counting the Logan and Deadpool spinoffs, the best X-Men movie of all time. X-Men Days of Future Past, what say you?
Chris, what do you say about Days of Future Past?
Just for the other X-Men movie that made me look, I love X-Men Days of Future Past. I think it's one of the best X-Men movies there is with that Logan. It's great action. Peter Dinklage is a really good underrated villain in it. It's the last technically good Jennifer Lawrence performance X-Men movie, and then Patrick Stewart, Tim McKellen, Jay McAvoy, and Michael Fassbender did great performance. And McAvoy probably one of the retired Patrick Stewart, a few other one of the really out the box performances that define how great as an actor he is in the movie. And so many funny lines, and I dare say yes because I love this movie and it improves every time I rewatch it upon repeat viewing.
But yeah, I like Days of Future Past. But just looking at sort of what other ones I want to bring up, there are others I want on this list over Days of Future Past. I'm going to say no. But I mean, it is the last movie in which the actors really cared about doing these movies. A lot of them kind of sleep worked for Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. Eric, what do you say about Days of Future Past?
I like Days of Future Past. You guys are making me feel like a real buzzkill here. With Logan already on the list, probably the only other X-Men movie I would be down to throw on the list is X2. I think that in both First Class and Days of Future Past, Fassbender and McAvoy are giving incredible performances that are better than the movies that those performances are in. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to go no on Days of Future Past.
Zedius, what do you say about Days of Future Past?
Yeah, this to me, it's neck and neck with another X-Men movie in my eyes, but because I'm not sure if that other one might be brought up, and because I actually do love this movie, it's literally 1-2 spot for me. While it leaves me with so many questions after the movie's over with. I love this movie so much, so I'll say yeah.
Steven, it's down to you.
This is my second favorite X-Men movie. But my favorite doesn't have a chance in hell in getting in. So I'll say yes to Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
I really want to know what his favorite is now.
Well, it was already mentioned, and nobody likes it.
Oh.
Now I'm confused. Which one are you talking about? You talking about
Does it involve a
Apocalypse?
bird? It came out last year.
Is it really Dark Phoenix?
No, not Dark Phoenix. That's actually the only X-Men movie I didn't like.
Okay.
So which one is it? I'm confused.
I think it's Apocalypse, but it's fine.
Oh wow. Okay. Hey, you want to support that movie? Have at it. You can be. It's okay.
I mean, it's one of those ones. I don't think Apocalypse is that bad of a movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad either, but it's definitely not one of the best.
Decent.
Yeah. It's not bad as it seems to begin with.
But anyway.
But thank you for Days of Future Past. I'm representing today. So Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, we love you.
Anyway, Chris, what is your next nomination?
You know what? I don't go outside the box here. This is a movie that is a fantastic adaptation of comic book. And one that not a lot of people have seen. It a remake of a terrible comic book movie before. I got a Dread with Carl Urban and Lena Headey. This is one of the best action movies of this century that nobody saw. Like, this is Carl Urban fantastic. Lena Headey is a fantastic villain there. The actor is top notch. This is a close recon to American version of the Raid, and it's fantastic. And when I was looking at what were considered comic book movies to get came on, I knew I had to get on the list. And nobody's seen Dread yet. Do yourself a favor about Dread. One of the more underrated movies that came out. Company.
Fun fact: Carl Urban is a great New Zealand actor. I haven't seen Dread.
Wow,
dude, you should really watch Dread.
If you want a hardcore balls to the wall action movie, watch Dread.
Once again, it's on my. It's on my list. Like, it's one that I have been meaning to say. It's just not like Netflix. New Zealand Netflix is really limited to what gets put on there. But Eric, what do you say about Dread?
Yeah, I'm really glad you said it, because if you hadn't, it was going to be one of my next choices. I think that Dread is a phenomenal movie. Even though he wasn't credited as the director, there's, word is that Alex Garland did a lot of the directing on set, and I think he Dread is an easy yes for me. Uh-oh, what happened?
You lagged.
You froze a little bit.
Yeah.
You got a little bit.
Oh.
You lagged, but you're back now. We can see you.
Zedius, what do you say about Dread?
I have seen this first one. Let me say I have seen it. So, but as top 12, I will say I like this movie. When I saw it, it did have a lot of rewatchability to me. So I'll say no, but I appreciate it.
Stephen, what do you say about Dread?
I grew up on Schwarzenegger and Stallone movies, so the Stallone one is a guilty pleasure.
Oh boy.
But obviously this one is better. So I'll say yes.
Ryan, it's all on you. What do you say about Dread?
Why? Why, Malcolm? Why? But anyway, look, I know he's watching us from above. He's the king of the sweaties, John Schnepp. He sings this movie's praises, and I respect him a whole lot for that. I saw this movie. It's. I had a bit of an issue with the what do you call it? The slow-mo sequences in theaters when I rewatched again on DVD. Didn't bother me one bit. I was like, okay, this is hardcore. This is how Dredd should be. This is what Carl Urban was made for. I need to see 2 or 3 more Dredd sequels now with him and Anderson. Hello, Olivia Thirlby. I like you. But for top 12 though, man, top 12. I'm kind of like with Zadius. Like, I like this movie, I really do, but I just don't think it's top 12 necessarily. So Schnepp, I'm sorry, man. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to give Dredd a negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is just, it's too full. It's too full.
No!
But Dredd, you're a really good movie. Do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. But unfortunately,
I'm not going to lie. You had me in the first half there.
It's
I like how Ryan builds up your hope.
I build things up, and then I pull the rug right underneath the audience. And that's what I just did with 20,000 people watching at home. So unfortunately for Dredd, I'm going to have to say no. But I cannot wait for Dredd 2 and 3 to eventually get made because they deserve to be made.
It'll be made right after the Flash movie, probably.
No, I don't care about the Flash movie. No one cares about the Flash movie. I want Dredd 2 and 3 yesterday.
I mean, actually, I'd argue that it's probably more likely we'll get the Dredd sequels before we get the Flash movie at this.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Probably so.
100%.
But
sorry, comment section.
I'm going to bring up one of my. I'm going to bring up one of my guilty pleasures, one that I just love watching. I was incorrect before when I said The Mask was based on Flaming Carrot comics, but this one, after double checking, this one was based on Flaming Carrot comics, and it's Mystery Men. I think Mystery Men is a really fun, comedic comic book movie. Because when you've got people like Janine Garofalo, Cal Mitchell, a lot of the great actors, I think this is a fun movie, and it's just really entertaining and just one that I love watching all the time. And I think it belongs here. Eric, what do you say about Mystery Men?
Mystery Men is another one that I was going to pitch. It's one of my favorite comedies. I think that movie was totally ahead of its time. I quote it constantly. It was one of those formative movies that like shaped my sense of humor. Yes, Mystery Men is an easy yes for me.
Zedius, what do you say about Mystery Men?
Huh? I'm sorry. I wear this badge. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this movie when I started. So in the beginning, like, it was okay for me, and just for me. So I'll say that.
Stephen, what do you say about Mystery Men?
I saw this movie when it was in theaters. That was 21 years ago. So I remember enjoying it, but I don't really remember much about it other than liking the cast. So I guess that's got to be a no.
Ryan, what do you say about Mystery Men?
Grew up on this movie. It's some funny stuff, man. There's no question. It's got its fair share of great comedic moments. And I met Kel Mitchell at a convention. Kel, how you doing, man? Hope you're enjoying the show. But for top 12 of all time, I'm sorry, Mystery Men's not going to do it. So I'm going to have to say no. Funny movie, entertaining film. I haven't seen it in 2 minutes. I need to sit down and rewatch this on DVD, which I have here in the man cave closet at some point. But for this list, I'm going to have to say no.
Chris, it's down to you. What do you say about Mystery Men?
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember that too, Ryan.
I love this movie. I do. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but so we need some like maybe that not a lot of people see. They say yes, it's a fantastic movie. Not a lot of people see Mystery Men, so I'm going to go against the odds and say yes on this one.
Mystery Men makes the list.
Wow.
Question. Wait, Ryan.
Love
Ryan,
that.
did you say yes?
Yeah, Ryan said yes.
Okay. Okay. I missed it. Okay.
Wait, what did I say?
Oh, Zedius was just making sure if you said yes.
Said yes to what? Mystery Men? No, I said no.
Oh, you didn't. But Mystery Men isn't on the
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Is it on the list or not on the list?
Well, I don't know.
What is going on?
Steven.
Okay, wait.
obviously-
I think it was 3 no's and 2 yeses.
Stephen, did you say you hadn't seen it in a while? So yeah, it is, Mystery Men isn't on the list.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, it isn't. Okay, jeez.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought Brian had said yes.
No. I grew up on it for sure, but I said no at the end because there are other films I think belong on this list. Unfortunately, I don't think Mystery Men's one of them. So it's a negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
But anyway,
It's
Eric,
okay, Ryan.
But anyway, Eric, we go back to you for what is your next nomination?
As if the comment section isn't.
All right, so
lighting my
I
name on
saw
fire
a
enough
request in the
already.
chat. I saw a request in the chat for more diversity, and they're not wrong. And so I'm going to raise the MCU argument again, even though it's probably my third or fourth favorite MCU movie. There are a couple I would put above it. You can't deny its cultural impact, and I think Ryan Coogler's an incredible filmmaker, and it has one of the best villain performances of all time. I'm going Black Panther.
Zedius, what do you say about Black Panther?
Zadius is in shock. Are you the bad guy again, Zadius? Is that it? I don't know what's going on.
I literally can't be right now.
Ryan, don't worry. We're
So
going to get
what-
plenty more
what
films
was-
on this list. I'm talking about Ryan Payne, not
Well,
myself. I'm not talking about
oh
myself.
no. Okay. Well, it's not my. Okay. Well, it's
Take a
not
deep
my
breath and count
favorite
backwards from
MCU
10.
movie. Oh man, there's two. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm sorry that this is taking so long. I love this movie. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I gotta say no.
Stephen,
Wow.
Stephen, what do you say
All the
about Black
people are gonna hate me now.
Here come the comments.
Yeah, I mean, we
I'm
can
betraying
only
my race.
have one MCU movie on this list. So,
I
while
know.
I like and admire this movie a lot, I've got to say no.
Ryan? What do you say about Black Panther?
Wow.
I haven't seen Black Panther since it came out. I need to sit down and rewatch this movie because I remember enjoying it when I saw it in the theaters. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10 when I walked out the door talking to the executives and the powers that be that were watching us after the, hearing our feedback after the movie. I'm just making that up. But yeah, I need to sit down and rewatch this because I haven't seen it in a hot minute. So for right now, I'm going to have to say no.
It's
Chris,
not my
what-
fault, Chad. It's not my fault. Please. It's
Chris,
not my
what do you
fault.
say about Black Panther?
You had one job, Thaddeus.
So oh god, I love Black Panther. Love it. Michael B. Jordan, fantastic. The whole cast, fantastic. Honestly, besides a few others, some of the most emotionally invested movie I've seen for the MCU. And I love the ending. I think one of the well-written script, I think, for MCU. I would say yes. I know it's probably not on the list now because we got 3 notes already.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
And Thaddeus can't stop laughing. What's going on down there?
I said yes for myself.
I mean, I also Black Panther was also one of the 6 I was going to say yes to.
Oh, wow. Yowza. Okay, there you go.
But yeah. Man, Ryan, I gotta say, Ryan Payne is on fire tonight in the chat. guys. I gotta tell you. Zedius, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Choose wisely.
Okay. I was gonna say this one for later, but I gotta pull this one out now. It was one of my favorite movies when it came out. It's my favorite one of these three movies. The second one that came out like this was trash. Don't even think about it. Let it leave your mind, please. But the action in this was great. The CGI was a little wonky, but him against the bad guys, I thought was badass. But I'm throwing out Blade 2. There we go.
Blade 2 is on the table.
Oh.
Stephen, what do you say about Blade 2?
Yeah, Blade 2 is definitely my favorite of the Blade movies, so I'll say yes.
Ryan, what do you say about Blade 2?
Blade 2, I did a rewatch of all the Blade movies, as well as the two-part premiere of the TV series that was on Spike TV. Blade, what was it called? Blade House of Cthulhu. That was good. I like two things about Blade. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. So Blade 2, Ixnay on the Blade 2 nay. So it's going to be a no for me, because there are two things I like about Blade, and Blade 2 is not one of the films I enjoy about it.
Chris, what do you say about Blade 2?
Oh, I did pull them out from here. I had not seen any of the Blade movies. They are on my list to see, but I didn't have time to watch them. But I want to watch them. I know Blade is supposed to be great, but I had to abstain here, sadly.
I haven't seen any of the Blade trilogies. They just put Blade 2 on Netflix, but they haven't put the other ones on.
They're out of order.
But Eric, what would you have said about Blade 2?
It's the only one of the Blade movies I've seen. I love Guillermo del Toro. I love how gross the vampire design in that movie is. That would have been a yes for me.
Okay.
They were called the Reapers, yeah. But you definitely got to see Blade 1 before you see 2, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, it's called Going in Order. Yeah.
But we go to Stephen. We go to Stephen for his next nomination.
I'll go with the one that started it all, Superman the movie. I like Henry Cavill, but Christopher Reeve will always be Superman and Clark Kent to me. And of course, Gene Hackman is great, and some of the effects are obviously dated, but that didn't bother me. I still love the movie.
But Ryan, what do you say about Superman the movie?
Well, there's an old saying. There's a very old saying. Respect the past, embrace the future. I respect the past that Christopher Reeve gave us. Don't get me wrong. I grew up on 1 and 2. More so 2 than 1 and 2, but that's just me. But for Superman, the first one, I'm going to have to say no. I think there are far superior films that deserve to be on this list, and I'm a diehard Superman fan, and if you've known me for more than 2 minutes, I think you know my favorite Superman movie of all time is. But Superman, the original Richard Donner film, is not it. So I'm going to say no.
Chris, what do you say about Superman the movie?
Okay, that would take you right just after the last one. I gave up Superman this weekend, and then Attention to Come Hamilton and Batman Massive Fans had to I bought just after one. And I had to say no because I haven't seen either of the first two Superman yet. I think all of the other Superman, that not Christopher Reeve.
I'm going to say yes to Superman the movie. I think it's great. I think Christopher Reeve is the best Superman out portrayal. And also, as Ryback says in the chat, technically Adam West's Batman was the first movie. I will counter that with a lot of people argue Superman
doesn't count, it's a parody.
Superman versus the Mole Man is technically the first superhero comic book movie, but Eric, what?
On a slight technicality, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah.
Well, it was the first superhero movie that was big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I I was very young the last time I saw Superman the movie. My memory of it isn't that great, but I love Superman as a character. He's one of my favorite superheroes, and there aren't really any other Superman movies that I would pick to be on this list. And I think that Superman, as such an iconic character, needs to be on this list somewhere. So I'm going to go yes for Superman the movie.
Zedius, it's on you. What do you say about Superman the movie?
No pressure, Zadius.
So just make sure we're at 2 and 2 right now, right?
Yep.
We definitely
Comes
are.
down to
Yeah.
you.
Two
Comes
no's.
down to you, Z-Man.
Well, you know what? You either die a hero or you live. Let's see yourself become a villain. Hi, again, I am the bad of this list. I like this movie, but I do like other Superman movie more than.
Taking that as a no, I guess.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until one was-
Just to make sure there was a no to Superman the movie.
Yeah, did I cut out for a second?
You cut out a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a no for me.
Yeah, and
There you go.
and I'm pretty sure Brian's going to be right. I think our buddy Matt Kurtz won't be happy.
Okay, man.
Oh, Kearns. We have other movies that'll make the list that'll make you happy.
You guys-
Don't worry about it.
Start voting yes. We are going to be here for a while.
Hey, that's what we signed the contracts for. If there's an
We
extension
have
and
four
reshoots,
movies, right?
we are going to be here for the
We have
reshoots.
5.
Zipper.
We have
Okay.
5.
It's okay. We'll be here all night if we have to.
Ryan, what do you say? What is your next nomination?
Like I said, we signed contracts, Malcolm. Anyway, let's see. Let me look at the list here because now I'm confused. What's going on in this world? Do I want to go with this one or the other one? All right, let's go with something a little different here. Let's go with this. Let's see what happens. I rewatched this movie not too long ago. I think it was several months ago. But you know what? I still enjoy it. It puts a smile on my face. It's a great team-up film. It broke new ground. It did something that no one thought was ever humanly possible. It was taking a multitude of different characters, slapping them in one movie, and seeing how it works. You mix them together. What do you get? You get the Avengers of 2012. It broke records. It made history. It made a lot of history in a lot of different ways. Brought a lot of characters together we never thought we would ever see in a movie. I never thought I would see a guy holding a hammer and a giant green rage monster breaking people's necks, cashing checks, and entertaining the millions and millions of moviegoers out there. So I'm going to put it out there. 2012's The Avengers. I think this film still holds up. It's a fun movie. It's a great team-up movie. No one character overshadows the other. Everybody gets their own screen time. Everybody is equal in this movie. So let's put it to the test. The Avengers of 2012 to end Phase 1 of the MCU. What say you?
Chris, what do you say about the Avengers?
So we only had to pick one MCU movie. I much I love the Avengers. Not my favorite Avengers movie, and much I love it. The other 2 other MCU movies I think deserve to be on here more, but I just had to say no. I must have paid me.
The Avengers is one of the 6 I was going to say yes to. I'd say yes to the Avengers.
Ooh.
Eric, what do you say?
Yeah, I think that apart from my obvious first choice of Guardians 2, which you already shot down, and then my next choice of Black Panther, which also got shot down, my next choice probably would have been Winter Soldier. But that said, Avengers, to me, is the most representative of why the MCU is magical. I remember, as someone who's been reading Avengers comics since I was 9 years old, I remember when I was watching that movie in the theater, admittedly, I was a little bit drunk, but at the moment, towards the end, when all the characters circle up and they all get in their position together, I turned to my friend I was with and we both had tears streaming down our face. It was magical. So yes, that's a hard yes for me. If we're going to have one MCU movie in here, there's really no reason why it shouldn't be the Avengers.
Zedius, what do you say?
Somebody speaks English.
Zedius, what do you say about the Avengers?
With the Avengers on the board now, I do agree that if we're gonna have one coming from here, why not have it be an Avengers movie? just not this one. No.
Wow.
I like it.
We're gonna be here all night, guys.
Oh my god!
We're here all night, brother.
Stephen, what do you say about the Avengers?
It's the same thing with Black Panther. I love the Avengers, but if we can only have one MCU movie, it's between for me. It's between
Early.
3 movies, and the Avengers isn't one of those 3.
Jeez Louise.
Are we tied?
No, we only have 5 movies now. Jeez, that's terrible. Just terrible. How can you say no to Avengers? God.
Yeah. What is?
Because you picked the wrong one.
No.
No,
There are great
no.
MCU movies on there. Don't get me wrong, but Avengers is certainly one of the best.
But anyway,
Does it make the list or does it not?
Chris, we're back to you for your next nomination.
Yeah,
No.
we're gonna be here till midnight, Zipper.
Great. That's exactly what I signed up for.
Exactly. We signed a contract. We're gonna own up to it.
Wait, midnight in California or midnight in the
No,
East
just
Coast?
midnight wherever. Okay. Midnight Eastern, midnight Pacific. It doesn't matter.
Universal midnight.
Okay,
Oh,
so let's bring up the other MCU movie.
Yes, I moved. I did make a rule. I regret my decisions now, but I'm.
Yeah, I think a quarter of this list should be MCU at least.
Yep.
Okay, let's bring up the other MCU movie that Eric Man is bringing up. Captain America Winter Soldier. It is the best sequel MCU movie there is. It's the best dramatic one. It's some great action sequence, great dramatic stuff. I wrote you to the end of the line one of the more emotionally resonant quotes from the movie. The Winter Soldier is fantastic villain. Robert Redford does a really good job. I think he's very underrated. Don't get why the hatred to his character is. The Hydra reveal is shocking. And the references, but Widow is great. The introduction Falcon is great. Hawkman is really good. Henchman. It's so good, and it encapsulates what made me fall in love with Captain America in the first place. And a great stepping stone lead up to where we see him now with Endgame and everything. And the pregnancy gets to me all the time. It held up well upon rewatching it again recently, compared to a lot of the MCU movie.
And what does bring up a good point. We wouldn't we wouldn't have had Endgame without the first Avengers, but anyway, the Winter Soldier is what's on the table. I'm saying yes to the Winter Soldier. That's another one of the 6. Eric,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fight scene nerd. I love amazing fight scenes and action sequences, and I love the MCU, but the fights and the action are usually not quite as good as I want them to be, except in The Winter Goddamn Soldier. The action in that movie is incredible. The throwback political thriller vibe is awesome. It's my second favorite MCU movie. I'm going yes.
Zedius, what do you say about the Winter Soldier?
This is a definite yes. It's my favorite of the MCU movies. So I'm so glad we got the MCU out of there.
We're done. We're done. Finally.
Yeah, it's done. No more MCU movie. But this is definitely a yes for me. This movie even made Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so much better after that moment in this movie. So yes.
Stephen, what would you have said about the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, Winter Soldier is one of the 3 movies that I would have said yes to. So yes.
Ryan, what would you have said about the Winter Soldier?
Well, kind of like what this guy in the chat was saying, Ryan Payne, you got to respect the past before you can embrace the future, guys. The first Avengers, come on. But you know what? With the MCU overall, not counting the team-up movies, this is by far and away the best solo MCU film that's ever been made up to this point. Winter Soldier has everything that makes a film great. It's dark, it's gritty. The trailers advertise it as such. They said there's going to be some conspiracies, there's going to be secrets revealed, and boy, did this movie delivered on those fronts, people. And it blew the doors wide open with that third act, with everything coming to a head. Good God Almighty. It was crazy. It was nuts. It was great fight scenes, great characters, great actors and actresses. ScarJo, you were fantastic in this movie. I'll give credit where credit is due. very good stuff. Robert Redford, great job as the villain, fantastic. So yeah, Winter Soldier. We are going to put one MCU film on here. If we don't get the past, we can embrace the future and do it with Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So that's the oh hell yeah, that's a hell yeah, dude.
I
I'm
should have
going
just
to-
started with Winter Soldier, and we could have gotten that out of the way 40
Yeah.
goddamn minutes ago.
That's okay, Eric. It's okay. It happens to the best of us, man. It's okay.
But anyway, I'm going to continue my trend of trying to go for some non-Marvel and DC properties.
That's okay.
And I'm gonna bring up Sin City. I think
Ooh.
Sin City is a great movie. And the way they take the whole detective noir aspect and just use it in its own way, and the characters of Marv, Dwight, and
Hardigan.
Hardigan. I just think each of their stories works, and at the times when they tend to intersect, at times I think when they meet each other, I think works as well. I think this is a great movie. The sequel is whatever, but the original Sin City was great. Eric, what do you say about Sin City?
I haven't seen it since it came out. I remember liking it at the time. I want more non-superhero stuff on this list, and Sin City is a fun movie, and I'm a little bit on the fence, but I'm gonna go yes on this one.
Zedius, what do you say about Sin City?
I'll say just to plain and simple. I'll say no. I liked it, but it's not. It has its points, but it's not all that great for me. So no. I have another one I want to turn on to list.
Stephen, what do you say about Sin City?
It's a yes for me. Probably my second or third favorite movie from Robert Rodriguez. So yeah.
Ryan, what do you say about Sin City?
This is a just solid film. I'm a big fan of film noirs. I really am, and I like this film. And I'm in the minority. I like the sequel too. That's right, folks. I like both Sin Cities. Come at me in the comments section. But as far as top 12 material, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. It's a no.
Chris, it's on you. What do you say about Sin City?
No pressure.
God,
I have places to be, Chris. That's not true. I really don't. I really don't.
It's all right, Eric.
I really don't.
So, you know what? It's a really good movie. I don't say yes because I actually do like this movie a lot. Except they start scraping at the bare barrel. We just start saying yes to some stuff. I don't have to say yes for that.
Sin City has made the list.
That's another shocking moment.
And we go back to Eric for the next nomination.
I'm going for another one that is not a superhero movie. This is one of my favorite movies by one of my favorite filmmakers. You don't think of it as a comic book movie, but it technically is. I really hope you've all seen it. I have to go for History of Violence.
Ooh, good one.
Zedius, what do you say about History of Violence?
History of Violence, Viggo Mortensen, Maria Bello. I remember it. I liked it. Just not enough to. Okay, I'm sorry.
Damn it.
Stop
doing that to me.
I appreciate that.
I'm sorry. No,
Thaddeus
it's
learned
enough
from the
for me,
master.
dog.
He learned from me.
Stephen, what do you say about History of Violence?
We still have 5 spots left, and I do think it's a really good movie, so I'll say yes.
Ryan, what do you say about History of Violence?
Just to answer Eric's question from earlier, yes, Eric, I've seen this movie. I have seen it. I'm familiar with it. Great cast. Viggo Mortensen. You got Maria Bello, who really doesn't age, by the way. I just want to point that out. Maria Bello doesn't age, folks. Look it up. It's on the interwebs. But as far as top 12, I haven't seen this movie in 10 minutes, so it's been too long. I got to sit down and rewatch it. For right now, I'm going to have to say no.
I mean, of course you haven't seen it in 10 minutes. You're still here 10 minutes ago.
I know. But you know what I mean,
Look,
Malcolm.
just
It's a
take my
figure of
word
speech.
for it, man.
Chris, what do you say about a history of violence?
I think it's all down to you again, Chris.
Oh, great.
Oh, God.
Just
Am
say
I-
yes so Eric can go. Eric can go
Well, I mean, I'm still going to go. I'm still going to go after.
Oh yeah,
Chris.
you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
Malcolm,
You're right.
it's
Sorry,
it's
Malcolm.
up to Malcolm.
But in saying that, Chris has to say yes for me to be the tiebreaker.
Oh, that's true.
Well, wait.
You
'Cause
know
we
what?
have 2 yeses and 2 nos so far, right?
Well, Zedius and Ryan have said no. Stephen has said yes. Chris hasn't
Oh,
said
right.
anything.
I don't count. Right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
It is. I remember seeing it. I remember liking it a lot. Not my favorite from Viggo Mortensen. It's a promising little bit, but I do say yes because we actually really good movie that a lot of people should see.
He's going to say yes. I remember when we did Ed Harris movies. At the time, we did Ed Harris movies a while back. I hadn't seen it. Stardrew is completely wrong now, though. I have seen A History of Violence. I like A History of Violence. I'm saying yes to A History of Violence.
Oh boy. Okay. All right.
It's a great fucking movie. We can swear, right? We can swear.
Yeah.
Yep.
I need to sit down
Yeah.
and rewatch it then, because it's been a hot minute since I've seen it.
Such a good
I
movie.
love it.
But yeah, Zedius, we go back to you for your next nomination.
You know what? It's not the next one chronologically on my list, but I remember seeing it. It's a superhero movie, but it's one that it's kind of a superhero movie, but it's based off a comic book. And I just remember when I saw it, I always thought it would be cool to be a superhero until I saw this damn movie. And Kick Ass, I love it, but he was a dumbass. So I love the movie, so I'm throwing Kick Ass out there.
A good one.
Stephen, what do you say about Kick-Ass?
I thought Nicolas Cage and why am I blanking on her name?
Chloe Moritz.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Chloe Moritz. Yeah, they're definitely. I think they're the best part of that movie, and I'm going to say yes.
Ryan's Ryan.
Oh, he's back.
It's just come back. Perfect timing there, Ryan. What do you say about Kick-Ass?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What do you say about Kick-Ass?
Oh, yeah, that movie with some dude named Nick Cage, something or other. Aaron Taylor, who married somebody twice his age, which makes no sense. Yeah, no, Kick-Ass is not a very... I don't think it's all that good. I don't think it's one of the best things since sliced bread. It's a heck no for me.
Chris, what do you say about Kick-Ass?
Kick-Ass was one of the film I love. I love this. Sequel is a total bummer compared to this, but first one is really good. Nick Cage, before he was Spider-Man New On, was really great in this as Big Daddy. Really great words were great. The action's good. Paul Straughn is hysterical in the movie as the villain. The whole speech about Kick-Ass and the birthday party scene is so funny. And Christopher obviously, yeah, I do say yes. I love Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass, I think is a good movie. I definitely like this more than the sequel. And so I'm going to say yes to it. Eric, what do you say about Kick-Ass?
Yeah, I like Kick-Ass. It's not one of my favorites by any means, but I think that one of the things it really has going for it is it's one of those rare movies that improves on the source material. The comic is not good, and the movie is. So I would have said yes to Kick-Ass.
But yeah, Kick-Ass is on the list,
Yikes.
and it's back to Stephen for his next nomination.
Well, my next one will be a movie I saw mentioned in the live comments that I didn't even know was based on a comic. But I love it, so I'm going to nominate The Mask of Zorro.
Mask of Zorro is a comic book.
Oh.
But Ryan, what do you say about Mask of Zorro?
I'm shocked. I thought this was just based off a like an old school TV series that became a movie. I didn't know it was a comic before that. I'm sorry. I must have read the history books wrong.
I didn't know
Wow.
either. I just saw it in the chat.
I am shocked. I had no idea this was based off originally it was based off a comic book. Holy cow. I just did a rewatch of this movie too a couple weeks ago. Holy crap. Oh boy. I grew up on this movie hardcore. I remember my late father, God rest his soul, taking me to see this movie because I was fired up to see a great action adventure movie from the same guy who gave me my first Bond film, GoldenEye, Martin Campbell. What's up, man? Wow, this is a tough one. God. Oh, you know what? I rewatched it. Now that I know it's based off a comic series of comic books, Antonio Banderas was born to play this role. Catherine Zeta-Jones is one of the most beautiful women on the face of this earth, and she can act, baby. She can act in this movie. And so, I mean, Sir Anthony Hopkins, you can never go wrong as the OG Zorro passing the torch. So for the sake of argument, for the sake of this list, and for the sake of going until 1 a.m, because I know Eric has a lot of other things to do, I'm going to say heck yes. The Mask of Zorro, one of the best films of the 90s, one of Antonio Banderas' best performances, and certainly the very beautiful, really doesn't age, Catherine Zeta-Jones. You had one of your best performances in this movie. So yes, give it a Mask of Zorro. You made the list.
Chris, what do you say about The Mask of Zorro?
Considering it's also from the same director, I think that gave us one of the worst sequels of time with Legend of Zorro. Oh god, I like Mask of Zorro. I do. One of my favorite Antonio Banderas interpretation of Zorro. I kind of like it pretty better, but that's another story. But I gotta say no because we done in the last 3, and there are one or two other ones that haven't been mentioned that not a lot of people might consider for the list that should be mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I simply just don't like Mask of Zorro. I think it's fine. I'm going to say no.
Wow.
Zedius.
Blasphemy.
My bad. I accidentally clicked the button. That's why we switched places. But are we at 2 no's to 1 yes?
I think so.
Are we at 2 no's to 1
Ryan,
yes?
Mask of Zorro,
Yep.
Ryan. I not hating. I just saying that I'm.
Jeez.
You know what? I can't say that I wasn't. It was based off a comic book also, but just given the fact that I've stolen this guy's signature move for most of my life, so, and I respect for the character, I'm gonna say yes to Mask of Zorro.
Ryan, I said I like Mask of Zorro. I don't love it. That different.
Which means it's all on Eric.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I remember enjoying it as a kid, but not one of my favorites. I'm a no. I'm a no on Mask of Zorro. Sorry.
Mask of Zorro doesn't make the list. This list
It's all right. It's going to live on in our hearts forever. It's okay.
But I know the chat's not liking me and Chris. It's like...
I like Mask of Zorro, Ryan and Brian. I don't hate it. I'm not going to want to hate it.
Man, Ryan Payne has been on team. Like we're on Team Ryan tonight, man. I like it when other Ryans team up with other Ryans. Awesome.
Also, Stardrew, I'm the host. I'm not kicking myself off the panel. So...
This is some good stuff. I like it when people understand my language. I love this.
But anyway, with that, we go back to Ryan for his next pick.
Jeez, Mask of Zorro not getting too much lovey-dovey in the house tonight. But that's all right. It's going to live on in my hearts forever. Let's see here. Let's choose something a little different. Let's steer away from the Marvels, the DCs, the kind of the same flavors of the week. Let's do something a little different here. Let's go with, this is probably going to be a Hail Mary. Probably Hail Mary, but I'm going to try for it anyway. I think some people have called this the best adaptation of these characters because the other movies that came after didn't really do it all that well, or at least they didn't do it as right as they could have in the creator's eyes. But hey, This movie just turned 30 years young, so let's celebrate that fact. Let's go with the original 4 pizza-loving heroes: Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo. TMNT, 1990. Let's kick it, man. Seriously. It has its moments of levity, it has its moments of darkness, and it has a cool theme song that a movie trivia showdown competitor walks out to the arena with 20,000 people watching him each and every time he walks out. And Ethan Big Time Irwin, I'm looking at you, man. I'm looking at you. So let's kick it. Cowabunga style, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1990. What say you?
Chris, what do you say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Okay, pretty much showed up because anybody's on my trilogy, they know I don't like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that much. Maybe I need to go back to see it. So I might be hating here. I tell you, give a no. I like the 2007 version better, honestly.
Boom, hot take.
But yeah, I like pizza.
But you don't like this movie at all because you think it's garbage, don't you?
No. Look, I think this movie is fine. Do I think it belongs in the top 12? No, I don't. Ryan, what do you, Zadius, what do you say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Please tell me you grew up on this like I did, Zadius.
I'm sorry, I'm over here rocking to Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. And while I know that was
that's the second
movie, there would be no second movie. There would be no second movie without this great gem of a movie that is. And I love this movie, and Raphael will always be the best Ninja Turtle to me. So it's a yes.
There you go.
Eric, what do you say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I agree with you, Zedius, that Raphael is easily the best Ninja Turtle. Raphael's the best. Growing up, I was a huge Ninja Turtle guy. Like, I had so many Ninja Turtle action figures. I was obsessed. And while this probably isn't the Ninja Turtle movie I would pick, I'm weirdly attached to the 2007 animated one. I like that movie. I think it's a good movie. There is enough nostalgia. There's enough nostalgia with me attached to this one, and I do love the Ninja Turtles. I'd like to see them on the list somewhere. So sure, why not? I'll say yes.
Which means Stephen, it's all on you.
No pressure.
I mean, I grew up. I loved the cartoon show as a kid. It was one of my big obsessions, other than He-Man. So I'll say yes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 makes the list.
Threw a Hail Mary, and it made it, folks. It made it.
Good job.
And thank you, Zadius, and those who also voted yes. Thank you all. We appreciate you.
Yeah. For the record, the first time I ever saw any of those original Turtles was this year, so that's probably why it didn't stick me that much.
Yeah, you really have to have been a kid and to have that
30
attachment.
years too late, Malcolm. 30 years too late.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, for them being in the Inner Kingdom leagues, you gotta go watch the Turtles movies anyway because they're going to pop up as questions. So.
Yeah, there's been that one question that's popped up on like 50 different matches already.
But anyway, Chris, it's on you for your next nomination. There's only 2 spots remaining.
Oh boy.
Okay, which Mary
2 spots? Man.
You know what? I don't go outside my box. I don't go with something that. The sequel wasn't great. I think this is a really good movie by the same director who did First Class. I don't even think it's Secret 7. I think this is honestly a very entertaining movie. Great debut by Tim Edgerton. Great performance by Comfort. Tim Edgerton, really good villain. Sophia Butella, fantastic Hatman. The church scene alone to Free Bird is such a great epic action moment. The cameo, the head exploding at the end is very funny. It's so good. And Mark Strong is so good. Like, yeah, the sequel stuff, but this was like they are introduced to how good Terry Edgerton as the actor is. Comfort being a complete badass. And like the church scene alone is one of the best actually seen any comic book movie from this last decade. Like, I think the fifth Kingsman movie.
Kingsman: The Secret Service is on the table. I rewatched this the other day, just because I wanted to rewatch the Kingsman movies. But I mean, and I think it still holds up. I think this is a great movie. I do actually like the sequel as well. But the first one is what's been thrown out there, and I'm going to say yes. ZS, what do you say about the Secret Service?
I will say that there are 2 movies left in my top 10 that haven't been mentioned, and this is one of them. Definitely.
Eric, what do you say about Kingsman: The Secret Service?
I like both of these movies. I know a lot of people don't like the second one. I like the second one. I like the first one too. I don't love it. And that's partly because, so I mentioned with Kick-Ass that I didn't like the comic, but I like the movie. And that's partly because I think that Mark Millar is just like really gross. And I think Kingsman kind of just retains some of that like disdain and grossness that I'm just like, it just like everything about that movie. I'm just kind of like, okay, man, we get it. You're edgy. The fights are cool. It's funny, but it doesn't crack the top 12 for me. I'm going to say no.
Stephen, what do you say about Kingsman: The Secret Service?
I actually saw the second one before I saw the first one, so that might be why I kind of like the second one a little more. Plus, every time I watch the second one, I always get Country Road stuck in my head. While I like these movies, since we only have 2 spots left, I'm going to have to say no.
Which means, Ryan, it's down to you.
You just love putting me in the hot seat, don't you, Malcolm? But anyway, with that being said, this is a very uneven franchise. One film's good, the other one, not so much, and they probably shouldn't have made sequels, and they probably shouldn't have brought that one character back from the dead. Not a very smart play. Raise the stakes. When people die, they die, okay? Things happen. Let's keep it that way. But as far as Kingsman: The Secret Service goes, it's a good movie, but with 2 spots left, it's not going to make the top 12, so it's a negative.
But yeah, with that, it's back to me. I don't know which one I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for one that I know this community just really loves. That is based on a comic book, directed by the same person that did a great trilogy named after ice creams. I'm bringing up Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes, that was going to be my next pick. That was going to be my next pick.
Well, between that was my other pick.
But yeah, this is a fun movie. Michael Cera is great as Scott Pilgrim, and just a whole bunch of cast, all which found a lot of them like really early. Brie Larson, Chris Evans, a lot of them found fame in other franchises as well. But yeah, ZS, what do you say about Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
I'm glad that I could be in this position right here. And just to be plain and simple, no. And I'll be as nice as I can, no.
Rue. Rue's
I will elaborate.
So was that a yes, ZS?
Oh no, it's a no. I don't. I'm not a fan of this movie. So yeah.
So Eric, I'm pretty sure I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I love the movie. I love Edgar Wright and everything he's made. I think the comic's amazing. I think the movie does a really good job of condensing and adapting it. I think that the movie captures our generation really well. Like, my parents saw that movie and were like, I didn't get it. And it's like, yeah, well, it was very kind of specifically for a certain group of people. It captures the generation that grew up playing video games and reading comics, and it's a good movie. Edgar Wright knows his shit. And I love it. I'm a yes on that one. Easy choice for me.
Stephen, what do you say about Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
I like 2 Edgar Wright movies, and this isn't one of those. So I'd have to say no.
Ryan, what do you say about Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Interesting comment, Rue. But for Scott Pilgrim versus the World, I've never seen it, so I'm gonna have to say no.
Um,
Oh wow.
Chris, what do you say about Scott Pilgrim?
I love this. I don't rewatch it recently. Hold up. Yeah, Peter. I love this. Yeah, the character not that great, but I love Remora. I love every one of who played the ex-boyfriend slash girlfriend. Like, they all agree. Chris Evans is hysterical to describe the movie. Like, I have to say yes, because this is a movie that not a lot of people seen. The reason why I love Edgar Wright so much as a director. Yeah.
But that being said, sadly, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World doesn't make this list.
That crushes me. That makes me very sad.
Oh, I mean, it crushes me too. I know there's a lot of people in this community that's going to come after Ryan Seaman and Zadius with pitchforks and knives.
No, not really. They'll be fine.
I'm already down Black Panther. I'm not
Malcolm,
afraid,
they'll
y'all.
get over it in 2 minutes. It'll be fine.
but with that, we go back to Eric for his next pick.
I think for my next pick, I'm going for one of my favorite sci-fi action comedies. I'm going Men in Black.
Men in Black is on the table. Stephen, what do you say?
You want me to put
There's
my
only 2
hands
spots left. So,
behind my head? Sorry.
I understood that reference.
yeah, there are only 2 more spots left, so I'm gonna have to say no. I enjoyed it, but
We're being practical, Peggy.
I never thought it was great.
Oof. Ryan, what do you say about the first Men in Black?
Look, I'll be straight up. The 90s was a great decade for film. It really was. And Men in Black was one of those reasons why it was such a good decade. I mean, a guy wearing a suit like that and putting on a pair of shades and saying, I make this look good, rubbing it in Tommy Lee Jones's face. I like that. I respect that. It's styling and profiling, like the Nature Boy would say. But unfortunately, we got 2 spots left. I don't think Men in Black's going to cut it. For me, it's going to have to be a no. And that's coming from somebody who really does like the movie, but it's not top 12 of all time material.
Chris, what do you say about Men in Black?
We down to our last 2 we've running out of stuff to say. I like Men in Black. I do. Do I consider it to make it a top 12? I love Men in Black. Actually, take that. I love Men in Black a lot. Oof. Should I say yes or sure? I'm going to give a slight yes because we need some chaos in here. So let's go.
Yeah.
Chaos, you say? Hasn't there been chaos in the last 90 minutes? I think so.
So Ryan and Stephen were both no's. Chris was a yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just make sure I had that right. I'm going to say yes to Men in Black. I love it. And I'm going to say yes. And Zadius, it's on you.
No pressure, Zadius.
Everybody, just bounce with me. Just bounce with me. Just bounce with me. You know, it's on my list. It wasn't as high. Some other movies have been cut off my list, but I love this movie with all my heart. And while I might like the second one a little bit better because of Rosario, but this is
hot take.
But it's only because of Rosario. But this one I love so much. So yes, definitely yes to me.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Now we're gonna fight over that last spot for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, we are.
Eric, we're gonna be here all day and maybe even all morning. So get ready. Fasten nice seatbelts and bring your popcorn and bring your caffeine.
But yeah, Men in Black is one that like a lot of people have forgotten it as a comic book movie as well. It's like there's a lot of discussion, but it definitely is.
Learn something new every day in this world, Peggy.
But just for the benefit of those who may be late, I'm just going to recap what's on the list. Men we've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We've got The Dark Knight. We've got Logan. We've got V for Vendetta. We've got Days of Future Past. Got The Winter Soldier. We've got Sin City. A History of Violence. Kick-Ass. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990. And Men in Black.
That's
and
diverse for you.
And with that, we go back to Zedius.
Okay, and
Pressure's
yeah, not really too much pressure. It's in my top 10, and I love this movie a lot. And while it's my second favorite in this franchise, in this larger franchise, this movie changed a lot for me in regards to comic book movies when it came out. I think was it 02 or 04? I think 02, but it changed the game. It flipped the script. I'm throwing out there for number one, not necessarily number one for the list, but for me, Spider-Man 2. Oh.
Spider-Man 2 is on the table. Eric, what do you say about Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good movie. I think the best thing about it is Alfred Molina's performance, but I love Sam Raimi, and yeah, Spider-Man 2 is a yes for me.
Stephen, what do you say about Spider-Man 2?
I like the Spider-Man movies, but he's never really been one of my favorite superheroes. Probably mostly because I prefer superheroes that are adults, and I like darker stuff than lighter stuff like Spider-Man. I'm going to say no.
Ryan, what do you say about Spider-Man 2?
I rewatched the first two films because the other ones didn't happen. 1 and 2 are some of my favorites. I was a hardcore defender of the first one, and then I rewatched these two films and I realized something. Spider-Man 2 is actually better than the first one. So I've come to that camp now. I'm in the camp. You can set me up with a membership card. You can give me the free jacket, the free shirt, whatever. But there are some other characters that deserve some recognition on this list. And we already have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You got like 50 Spider-Man in that movie? Come on, you're fine. So for right now, as much as I love Spider-Man 2, I think it's the best live action anyway Spider-Man movie we've ever seen in our lives, because I haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse yet. I know, folks. I'm a little behind in my homework. Give me a break. I'm going to have to say no. I think there's a couple other films that should get some recognition on this list, and Spider-Man 2 right now isn't one of them.
Chris, what do you say about Spider-Man 2?
Oh, I don't agree too many cards here. I love Spider-Man 2. We already have a Spider-Man movie out here. We need to get something that haven't been mentioned here already. And I have two picks I think that should be on here. So I love Spider-Man 2. How much I love Alfred Molina. We had a better Spider-Man movie on here. So I just had to say no and much didn't pay me.
Yeah, I mean, I would have suggested Spider-Man 2. I think this is the best one out of the Raimi trilogy, and but yeah, but Stephen, we go back to you for your next nomination.
I have a couple here. I'll go with the one that's most likely to get guesses, and I'll go with The Crow.
Ooh.
I think
With what?
Wait, what?
What did he say?
The Crow.
Which one?
The Crow.
1994 is The Crow, to be more specific.
None of the direct-to-DVD sequels.
Yeah, there's been 40 other Crow movies in our lives. To be more specific on this, it's a pro tip, but we all know.
But Ryan, what do you say about The Crow?
Well, I didn't see this movie until a few years ago for the first time ever, and this was actually one of the two movies I was going to bring up. The Crow, very influential on filmmakers, very influential on comic book movies in general. Brandon Lee would have been he was a big star because of this movie, but he would have been an even bigger star had he gone on to do other things aside from The Crow. But The Crow is such a good revenge movie. I like revenge movies. I like it when people get payback I like it when people get their comeuppance. I like it. I dig it. And this guy influenced one of my favorite wrestlers to become like the Crow. And I'm looking at you, Stinger. Sting became the Crow because of this movie. So I'm going to give credit where credit's due. And Brandon Lee, I know you're watching from above proudly when I say, yes, The Crow is one of the most influential comic book movies ever made. And yes, it is certainly one of the best revenge films ever made. And it deserves the recognition to be on this list. So The Crow, hell yeah, gets on this list.
I seriously thought you were going to say no after all that.
No, I wasn't going to pull the rug right underneath you, Zadius. I would never do that to you.
I mean, Chris, what do you say about The Crow?
To quote Malcolm, I have not seen it yet. On my list to watch. I just could have found it. I did it ahead of time, but I know I will probably like it. I had to see now and staying here.
Yeah, I've heard so much about this. I've seen various clips. It's definitely one that I've wanted to watch, but I just haven't seen it. Zadius, what do you say about The Crow?
You have homework to do after the show.
I've seen it. I thought it was. As so when I was younger, I wasn't a fan. I saw it again later in life, and it was okay, but it's not. No.
Thank you, Peggy.
Eric, what would you have said about The Crow?
I've never seen it, so I'm a no.
What is going on in town tonight? Good Lord Almighty. One of the most influential films ever made, and you've never seen it.
Anyway, Ryan,
Good
what is
heavens.
your next nomination?
Oh, it's my turn now?
Yes.
Jeez, how can the Crow would have been a great topper? You're killing me, Smalls. All right. You know what? If the Crow didn't make it, this one's probably not going to make it either, but I'm going to shoot for the stars anyway, because you know what they say, the sky's the limit, anything's possible. What is S-I-T, what is that? Oh,
Spider-Man Into the
Into the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse. Okay, yes, Peggy, I know, I get it. On my next Target run, I'll buy it on Blu-ray.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Thank you, yes. So many acronyms, you got to be more specific sometimes for me, people. But anyway, what was my... Yeah, okay, so next nomination, let's go with that. This movie, I think... was somewhat influential because of this movie. It's because we got some of the movies that came after it. I didn't even know it was based off a Marvel comic book when it came out until, a little bit afterwards. But hey, it's a good movie, and it's the best of the trilogy for me anyway. I'm going the original. Kicking it with Blade, Wesley Snipes, Vampire Hunter, The Daywalker, him, Stephen Dwarf, them battling out. It's good stuff. The the vampire bloodbath scene in the very opening of the film is a great way to introduce a character. Coming out with the black trench coat, styling and profiling, takes out his big sword, chops everybody up, getting some payback. I dig it. So let's go with Blade, 98. What do you say?
The Blade is on the table. Chris, what do you say about Blade?
Everybody told me early, I never see any of the Blade movies, so I sadly have to say no.
Man, and you think I have homework to do? Jeez.
I mean, let's just face it. I mean, we all apparently have homework to do, so no one can really.
I always see the English product credit reviews, so
But anyway, I haven't seen it, so.
Jeez.
I mean,
right.
You act surprised when I mentioned it earlier when Blade 2 came up. So, Zadius, what do you say about the first Blade?
As the guy that brought up Blade 2, because I love this one not as equally, but just as much almost. So it's a yes for me.
Okay.
Eric, what do you say about Blade?
Yeah, like I said before, the only one I really have much memory of is the second one, and I think on general principle, the second one didn't make it in, a film by Guillermo goddamn del Toro, then I cannot support letting the first one in, so I'm a no.
Good Lord Almighty.
Stephen, what do you say about Blade?
I saw a little bit of it not that long ago, and I was surprised at how bad some of the CGI is.
Oh yeah, it's
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I like the second one more, so I'm gonna have to say no.
Fine, I'll be in the minority.
Chris, back to you for your next nomination.
Okay, I'm going outside the box again. We mentioned Guillermo del Toro. The other he made 2 other comic book movies, but the one I prefer, which should have got third one, And this one was fantastic sequel. I'm going with Hellboy 2 to go down on me.
That was gonna be my next pick.
Okay, Catch My Without You. And like that scene, the villain's good. The comedy is really good. Ted McFarlane, despite how we feel about him sometimes, was very funny in the movie. Ron Perlman kicked ass. The action sequence great. The Tooth Fairy nightmare in the movie. Like, I rewatched it recently and it showed up so well. I'm so mad that instead of giving it a go, we got the crappy reboot that nobody should have seen. Like, but I love this movie. I love it. Great action, great villain, great motion effect. Abe Sapien is a really good side character with a great storyline to him. And Catch My Route, you think. So funny, one of the most funniest use of song in any prepared movie. Like, and Barry Manilow, like, the only time I've seen a theater, almost everybody sing along to it at the credits were rolling along.
But yeah, the Hellboy movies is just another one of those franchises which slid under my radar, and I just didn't. I mean, I just didn't like when I saw the trailer for the first one. It just wasn't one that I was interested in seeing, and they have a. And once again, it's another one that they put the second one on Netflix in New Zealand, but not the first one.
They love to go out of order in New Zealand.
And yeah, I have the only Hellboy I've seen is the reboot, which I'm not even planning on bringing up. But I'm pretty sure. I think I remember what I think Bibbs is on record as saying that he did enjoy the reboot. But yeah, Zedius, what do you say about Hellboy 2?
No, I'm not franchise, so no.
Eric, what
I'm
do you
trying to
say?
be as nice as possible, people.
Hellboy 2 is a yes for me. I liked it a lot more the second time I saw it. I love Guillermo del Toro. I love his approach to monsters. I think the design is amazing. I think the love that he has for monsters and the way that he centers them in the story and like the way that Hellboy is characterized is awesome. The like creatures are great. It's funny. Doug Jones is amazing. The fairy tale vibe is awesome. I love that movie. That's a yes for me. And also, I just think we should have a Guillermo del Toro movie in here.
Stephen, what do you say about Hellboy 2?
Well, I'm glad you said the second one, not the first one, because it would have been no if you did the first one.
The second one
But
is
I
much
like
better.
the second one a lot. And I was so disappointed that we didn't get a third film because they set things up so well for it in the second one with that prophecy that they mentioned. So yes, it's a yes for me for Hellboy 2.
So Ryan, it's all on you.
No pressure, right? No, I'm kidding. There's a few other films that haven't been name dropped yet. I like Hellboy. I really wish GDT would have gotten his third one. I really do. I would have liked to have seen an end to that trilogy, but too bad. We're never gonna get it. And I did enjoy Hellboy 1 and 2. I did. I really did. But for this list, it's a negative.
Hellboy 2 doesn't make this list. But yeah, it's back to me. And I'm going to go for a Hail Mary. This one, I don't know how it's going to go. I know there's a comment in the chat that I want to try to address, but I do want to try for this. Actually, no, I'm going to go try for Superman Returns. I think this is underrated. This is a fun movie. I like what Brandon Routh was doing did with Superman, and the way this is a kind of a sequel to the Christopher Reeve one, and I think this is a fun movie. And yeah, Zedius, what do you say about Superman Returns?
Well, since it's out here now, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but this is actually my favorite Superman movie that's out there. It's not
What?
perfect. It's not perfect, but it was the first one. Well, no, maybe the second one that I actually saw, and then it made me go watch the other ones. I had to find out it was like a sequel. It was connected to it, and while the other ones were good, I like this one better. Even though it has somebody who we should not name, but some of the things that happened in this movie I thought was hilarious and good. And while I'm not sure where it belongs on this list, I still throw it on the list. So yeah.
Eric, what do you say about Superman Returns?
Oh boy.
This is hard because I still really do think that Superman belongs on the list somewhere, but I would be a yes if that movie was 40 minutes shorter. If that movie was not 2.5 hours long, I would be a yes. I think there are a couple things that movie really gets right. I think it really nails the tone and what I want from a Superman movie, but I just think that on a story level, it never really got grabbed me, and so I'm a no on Superman Returns.
Stephen, what do you say about Superman Returns?
Sounds so defeated.
Yeah, I think it's underrated, so I'll say yes.
Ryan, what do you say about Superman Returns?
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Excuse me. Let me stop you right there. How many yeses and nos do we have right now? I just want to be clear.
We have 2 yeses and 1 no.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm hearing this right. Look, I was a young Padawan once upon a time, before I became a Jedi, right? And I remember being so psyched for this movie because of the teaser trailer, bringing in the John Williams score, hearing the voiceover of Jor-El, seeing the mailbox, seeing all those different sequences in the teaser trailer. It's one of the best teaser trailers in the history of teaser trailers. It really is. It's great. And Brandon Routh, everyone else around him, they gave the best performance they could with what they had. And Brandon Routh, you were good, man. You were good. I'm not going to lie. It was a love letter to the Donner films. I get that. But when it comes to Super Loop, the greatest superhero of all time, the GOAT, there is one movie out there that is 1 billion times better than this one. 1 billion times better. So for this list, for the sake of argument, Superman Returns, I respect it. May not be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's definitely not the best Superman movie. We'll get to that later. This is going to be a no. Absolute no. I respect it. It has its moments. It's been a hot minute since I've seen it. Maybe I should sit down and rewatch it again someday. But for right now, it's going to be a no.
Which means it's all on Chris.
Okay, anybody writing it down? To quote Kevin Spacey, and I hate this movie. Wrong Superman movie.
I don't know who
Wrong Superman movie. Right. So, I would don't be nice. I'm not going to explain why I don't like this movie. I just.
But yeah, and also, I don't know how Mark Wiley will feel, but I mean, but anyway, Eric, we go back to you for your next nomination.
Jeez.
It's Superman adjacent. Let's get a DCEU movie in the conversation. I'm going Wonder Woman. I rewatched it recently. I don't love it as much as most people, but I think that the second act of that movie, the middle hour of that movie, is fucking incredible. And while I have some quibbles with the beginning,
Your kids.
Yep. I had some quibbles with the beginning and end of that movie. With the first and third act, I think are fine, but I think that it really hits its stride in the middle. I think it's a very solid movie, and so Wonder Woman is my pick.
Stephen, what do you say about Wonder Woman?
There's another DCEU movie I like more, but I'll say yes for Wonder Woman.
Ryan, what do you say about Wonder Woman?
I was happy when they brought this character to the big screen. It was about dang time she got her own movie. Everyone gave a really good performance in this movie, but here's the problem. There's no villains in this movie. The hero is only as good as the villain, and there isn't a villain in this movie. There really isn't. And when the villain is revealed, it's bad, and it's not good. This movie could have been great, but unfortunately, it didn't meet that expectation. It's only a good film. but it's not great. And there's one or two other movies within the DC cinematic universe, as I like to refer to it, that are much better than Wonder Woman. And I cannot wait to see Wonder Woman 2, because I hope Wonder Woman 2 corrects the mistakes of the first one and gives us a great, memorable villain. And I can't wait for another 5 years until Wonder Woman 1984 comes out, because COVID-19, thanks a lot. So other than that, Wonder Woman, no.
Chris, what do you say about Wonder Woman?
Okay, much I love two other DCU movies that if we had more time we could bring up. I do say yes. I think I must add the problem with the CGI and the
Could have been
romance
explained better.
the romance between Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman is fantastic. And even though I much of you complain about the battle, the last thing with Chris Pine is really great emotional moment movie. And the No Man Land scene is fantastic. Like it's one of them. Like out all the DCU, the most cheering up and cheering on the things. There's like, and the second half is great. It's good. Yeah, the last half is great, but the first two acts are really good. And honestly, compared to beside the other two DCU movies that made my honorable mention, this was the last thing on my list that made it to my top 12. So I do have to say yeah.
I'm out of the DCU. I've got really mixed feelings about all the movies there, because some of them I love, some of them I hate. Wonder Woman is one I love, and I'm going to say yes, because I think Wonder Woman belongs on this list. So yeah, Wonder Woman closes out this list. Zadius, what would you have said about Wonder Woman?
Oh, well, since I'm not the bad guy, I was definitely going to say no to Wonder Woman. Even though I like it, I like another one more. But if it's on the list, it's on the list. I respect the filmmaking, the work that went into this movie. So I'm cool with it.
I also like a couple. There are two other DCU movies that I like maybe a little more than Wonder Woman, but as a character, I just think she belongs there. She's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I agree with that. I can agree.
It's definitely one, and I mean it gives a good mix of movies on here. But with that, we've reached the end. Just to recap what has made the list, this isn't the official ranking yet. I'll get to in a bit. But we've got Spider-Verse, The Dark Knight, Logan, V for Vendetta, Days of Future Past, The Winter Soldier, Sin City, A History of Violence, Kick-Ass, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 90, Men in Black, and Wonder Woman. And now we get to the fun part of ranking them. So if we've got a whiteboard, a bit of paper handy, we go to write down what we want on for number 12, 11, and so on. But we're going to start with 12.
Are we doing any honorable mention, or are we taking that for the end?
Yeah. We'll get Zadius, did you have any honorable mentions?
Will we do that afterwards or what?
I mean, you can do it now.
Oh, yes, me. What was mine?
Yeah.
My next one was going to be that was going to throw out there was Big Hero 6. Love that movie. Shazam was the one. Is my favorite DCU movie. While Not Perfect, is just one of my favorite. 30 Days of Night was one that I didn't think was based on a comic book movie, but I remember being super scared of that movie.
Yeah.
Back when. Now I think it's a great movie. And while we already have a Batman movie, on here, I was going to draw up Returns. Batman Returns is on my list also.
Oh wow!
And The Punisher.
Eric, did you have any honorable mentions?
Zedius basically took mine. Shazam was going to be on there. Big Hero 6 was going to be on there. And 30 Days of Night was going to be on there. Those are probably my three biggest honorable mentions. And actually, I'm going to throw a shout out to Birds of Prey as well, because as I mentioned, I love fight scenes. And Birds of Prey, they had Chad Stahelski from the John Wick movies come in and do the choreography. And I think that it has easily the best fight choreography in the entire DCEU. And the jokes land for me in that movie, and I think Margot Robbie's amazing in it. So Birds of Prey would be my other honorable mention.
Stephen, did you have any honorable mentions?
My favorite DCE movie is Aquaman, which is one of the most visually stunning movies I've ever seen. I grew up on I said I grew up on Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Van Damme, so I really love Time Cop. Um, uh, I don't of the Batman movies. Well, the 89 movie would have been one that I would have liked, and uh, Constantine I thought is really good.
Constantine is
Um,
good.
Yeah.
and one I didn't even know it was based on a comic is his Weird Science apparently is. And I one movie I wasn't sure to bring up or not because I wasn't sure if it's based. I mean, it said it's based on an unfinished graphic novel, so I didn't know whether I should bring it up or not. But I really loved Oblivion.
Yeah, I mean, Oblivion was one of those weird ones that I didn't actually know that was based on a comic, or even if unfinished. That was, but Ryan, did you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, if we would have gotten to him, I would have nominated Batman '89, and if we didn't get to Dark Knight, which I still think is a tad bit overrated, Batman Begins, X2, X-Men United was on there. Let's see, what else am I missing? Oh, and the best film for me in the DC Cinematic Universe, Man of Steel.
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was the Superman one you were aiming for. But,
Oh yeah, for me it's the Superman GOAT, Superman greatest Superman movie of all time, guaranteed.
Chris, did you have any honorable mentions?
Deadpool, definitely inviting right here. Man of Steel, actually my favorite Superman movie of all time. And like for the MCU, if we did bring up Captain America and Richard Church, probably would have brought up Endgame, Infinity War, for the first time, man.
Yeah, those are my.
But yeah, like for me, that hasn't been mentioned. Batman Forever is actually one of my favorite out of the 4 movies.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I know that's a weird one to have as a favorite, but I like it. I was going to bring that up if Wonder Woman didn't make it. 300, I was considering, and also Rich is based on a comic, and I love that movie. There we go. Zedius, what do you have for? Zedius, what do you have for?
What do I have on my board? Just number 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Sensei for number 12.
Eric, what do you have for number 12?
I have Ninja Turtles.
Stephen, what do you have for number 12?
Kick-Ass.
Ryan, what do you have for number 12?
Could minds think alike? Kick-Ass.
Chris, what do you have for number 12?
I know that the Captain Hate Me by Eric here, TMT.
I also had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, come on!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to be 12.
30 years of history, man.
By the way, if I didn't mention it, if we were accepting on radio, I would have bought a Watchmen, but we were only accepting theatrical.
My God.
I mean, graphic novels are comic books.
No, but we would take theatrical. If we would talk about on radio, I would have bought Watchmen.
Oh, right.
Okay, which one?
Man, that movie should have been a bit higher.
But Eric, what do you have for 11?
I have Sin City.
Stephen?
Go Kick-Ass.
Ryan?
If at first you don't succeed, try again. Kick-Ass.
Chris?
Men in Black.
I hate putting this one this low, but I put Wonder Woman. I like the other ones more. Zedius. Zedius.
Look like it's 2 versus 2 because I stayed with Sin City.
Chris, I'll go to you just because I'm the host. Sin City or Kick-Ass at 11.
I'm going to go with Kick-Ass at 11.
Kick-Ass.
You have chosen wisely.
I like Kick-Ass a lot, but I think Sin City will have more style to it than 3's.
Let me see here.
Okay, now I need to pick Strahd here.
Right, Stephen, what do you have for 10?
Men in Black.
Ryan, what do you have for 10?
I went with V for Vendetta.
Ooh,
Chris,
here come the Men in Black.
I've got Wonder Woman. ZS.
Man, like I changed my answer. It's still Sin City.
Yeah, same. Still Sin City.
Sin City is going. No, there was 2 for Men in Black as well, wasn't there? So I got
there
2.
2 for Men in Black.
Chris, you went Men in Black.
Yeah.
Stephen, you had Men in Black. So, Ryan, Men in Black or Sin City for 10?
Sin City.
Good choice.
Yeah, really not much of a hard decision there. So, in the words of the knight from LC Last Crusade, you have chosen wisely. There you go.
But with that, we've got number 9.
Okay.
Ryan, are you sticking with V for Vendetta?
Remember, V for Vendetta. Yes.
Chris, what do you have for 9?
I still have Men in Black.
I've also got Wonder Woman. ZS.
I put AHOV, A History of Violence.
History of Violence.
Mm.
Eric.
Ooh.
I had Days of Future Past.
Jeez.
Stephen.
That is way too low.
Still Men in Black.
Men in Black is going to be 9.
Yikes.
Okay.
Okay.
Men in Black is a formative, vastly influential action comedy. Deserves to be higher.
I agree.
Oh, man.
But with that, Chris, what do you have for 8?
How much I love this movie, I think it last I wanted did Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I've got Wonder Woman. ZS.
HOV.
Eric.
I had Days of Future Past again.
Jeez.
Stephen.
Wonder Woman.
Ryan.
V for Vendetta, but clearly I'm wrong. Jeez. Guys.
With that, Wonder Woman is going to be 8.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Wonder Woman, but she should be a bit higher than this.
I love Wonder Woman. You guys' argument kind of pushed it a little bit.
Jeez. And sadly for me, anyway, it's not even the best of the DC Cinematic Universe.
But yeah, there we go. Move on to 7. As I try to erase my board with the wrong side of my eraser.
Oh God.
Hold on a
See,
second.
I think this is a good spot for this. But, and I'm going to kick off this one. It's not my favourite in this franchise, but I'm going Winter Soldier.
Ooh.
Whoa, way too low. Way
ZS.
Yeah, that's fighting words.
It's way too low.
What? Wait, excuse me. Did he just say Winter Soldier for number 7?
He sure did.
Malcolm,
Yeah.
I'm done with you for now. I'm still sticking with HOB. But what?
Yeah, we're gonna
Eric, what do you-
defriend Malcolm at the end of the show.
Eric, what do you have for 7?
I was still going Days of Future Past, but I'm willing to go
History of
V for
Violence.
Vendetta if someone else is going V for Vendetta.
Stephen, what do you have? 7.
Spider-Verse.
Ooh.
Whoa! Wow.
Whoa.
I really need to see this.
That's
movie
number
now.
1.
Same thing from last time. V for Vendetta.
Chris.
I'm sorry, but History of Violence, much I love this. It's just
And with that, sadly, History of Violence is going to be number 7.
Oh wow.
I had that as my number 2.
Fair enough.
a good movie. It's just when I think of comedy.
I need to rewatch History of Violence. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Yeah, I think I did too.
But now we move
Yeah.
on to 6.
Six.
And just to recap what we've got left,
Okay.
we've got Spider-Verse, The Dark Knight, Logan, V for Vendetta, Days of Future Past, Winter Soldier, and Sin City left.
Okay.
What? No, Sin City already got. Sin City already got.
Yeah. Sin City's not there. It's just Winter Soldier, Days of Future Past, V for Vendetta, Logan, Dark Knight, and Spider-Verse. I didn't realise I'd seen 7, but yeah.
Yep, got it.
But Zadius, what do you have for 6?
It had a good run, but it's time for V for Vendetta.
Ooh.
Eric, what do you have for 6?
I also had V for Vendetta.
Stephen?
Still Spider-Verse.
Ooh.
Ryan?
This movie should definitely be lower, but we're gonna do it anyway. V for Vendetta.
Chris?
Man, I said Day of Future Past.
That's too low.
And I still had Winter Soldier, but V for Vendetta is going to be at 6.
Thank
V for
God.
Vendetta would have
Jeez.
been my number 1.
Such a good movie.
Okay.
I mean,
What are the 5 we have left?
Days of Future Past, Logan, Winter Soldier, Dark Knight, and Spider-Verse.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, which one of my favorite children do I need?
We're gonna go with number 5 now. Number 5.
Mm.
Getting in the top 5, the elite 5, folks.
Eric, what do you have for number 5?
I had Days of Future Past.
Stephen?
Well, since everyone seems to love Into the Spider-Verse so much, I changed to Logan.
Oh
Ooh.
my God.
Ryan?
I said Spider-Verse just because I've never seen the movie.
Chris?
Day of Future Past.
Oh,
I've still
Yeah,
got
there you
Winter
go,
Soldier. Zedius?
You still Malcolm. Just you know what? Forget Malcolm. Let's go with Logan.
Oh.
what is going on?
Yeah. What?
The battle is between Logan and Days of Future Past. And because Ryan's already it's going to fall on me. Out of the 2, I'm going to go Days of Future Past.
Oh,
You chose.
It still landed in the top 5. Stop it. It's still in the top 5.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Boo-hoo.
That still hurts a bit, but I'll allow it. I get it. It's fine.
Hmm.
Not even the best X-Men movie.
It is the best X-Men movie. But that's fine. I'll allow it.
But
Or did they kill me?
but with that
Oh, wait a minute.
we've got Spider-Verse, Dark Knight, Winter Soldier, and Logan.
Ooh.
Got it. Okay. Now I got it.
I now you're anyway with it.
You're right, Eric. At least Days of Future Past is in the top 5. You're right. Great film. Days of Future Past. That movie.
But anyway, Stephen, what do you have for 4?
I'll keep Logan.
Ooh.
Okay. fair
Ryan,
enough.
what do you have for 4?
I haven't seen it yet. Jeez, Spider-Verse.
Chris, what do you have for 4?
Oh, imagine pay me just when I think of everything. I said a Dark Knight.
I decided to give up my trying to put Winter Soldier low because apparently it's not going to work for you. But I put Dark Knight.
It paid me doing that.
Zedius.
Well, still 2 versus 2. I put Logan.
Here.
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight is going to be 4.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Wow. Okay.
Guys are planning to do that. It's just... Okay. Going down to our last 3.
So Spider-Verse, Winter Soldier, and Logan left.
Well, I know the top 3 for me are at this point. Jeez.
Yeah, kind of same here.
Man.
But for that, to go to Ryan for what is your 3?
Same thing, Spider-Verse.
Chris.
Much I love the Winter Soldier. I just need to add it to slightly a little bit better.
That kind of hurts.
Yeah, Winter Soldier is serious.
Jeez.
So both Chris and Malcolm don't count to me. So again, I'm sticking with Logan.
Eric.
I was torn between Winter Soldier and Logan, but I went with Logan.
Oh!
Stephen.
Logan.
Oh!
Wow.
Logan is going to be 3.
Wow.
3 is
Used to be a
good.
top
3 is
5.
really good. Number
It
3
is.
is really
It
good.
really is.
It is. I agree.
100%.
100%. I agree with you, Eric.
But this time, instead of going putting our number 2, we're going to put out what our number 1 is out of Spider-Verse and the Winter Soldier.
Mhm.
Because the other one becomes 2 by default anyway. So I thought it's fun
Yep.
to do the number 1 straight off the bat.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all know what Ryan's is. So, yeah. I mean, it's kind of obvious.
Well, I mean, which one
I
out of
think
the 2
we-
has Ryan seen?
I know, really. That's the bigger question.
But Chris, what do you have for number 1?
Think about Spider-Man smell. Spider-Man to the Spider.
Spider-Verse. Zedius.
Winter Soldier, but I'm fine with Spider-Verse being there.
Eric.
My favorite superhero movie, my favorite animated movie, Spider-Verse.
Stephen.
Winter Soldier.
Ryan.
Little indie film. It's called Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Is my number 1.
Which means we've got a tie, so we go.
Wow, so we're 3 for 3.
So
We're going
chat,
with the chat.
Spider-Verse and Winter Soldier, which should be number 1. The first comment I see is going to be the one that will count as the tiebreaker.
Winter
Spider-Verse,
Soldier. Just say
Winter
it.
Soldier.
Say it. Say Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Soldier.
Was it a tie? I thought it was 4. I thought it was 4-2.
Soldier.
Did I count wrong?
I went Spider-Verse. Chris went Spider-Verse. Eric went Spider-Verse. Sadius went Winter Soldier. Stephen and Ryan went Winter Soldier.
Oh, all right. I thought Sidious went Spider-Verse.
Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier. Come on, chat. We hear the 20,000 people screaming in the arena right now. Let's do it. Do it.
I see more Spider-Verses.
Yep, it's right. They've only just come up on. They've only just come up on for me as well. But Spider-Verse is going to be the number 1.
All right. Zadius, we tried.
My man.
We tried.
Hey, it's all good. Spider-Verse is a great movie.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll find that out once I sit down and actually watch it.
On Netflix.
I don't have Netflix. I have to go by other means, but thank you for bringing that up.
Also, I don't know if you smoke weed, but it is truly psychedelic, and I highly recommend being altered in some way when you watch Spider-Verse.
I'll just be myself, thank you.
I love Winter Soldier. I do it just like all 3 of
I'll
them
just-
would have been great. for
I'll
number
just
1.
watch the movie as I normally do. Sit in my comfy chair, watch it on my television like everyone else. I'll just watch it.
But anyway, just to recap our top 12 comic book movies, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990. We've got
Way too low.
Kick-Ass at 11, Sin City is 10, Men in Black is 9, Wonder Woman is 8, History of Violence is 7, V for Vendetta is 6, X-Men Days of Future Past is 5, Dark Knight is 4, Logan is 3, Winter Soldier is 2, and Spider-Verse is 1. But with that, it comes to the end of another rank episode. This was a lot of fun, and a lot of hot takes are out there in the interwebs now. But yeah, as I said, on the Facebook page, next week is going to there's not going to be a poll this week. I've decided in honor of Hamilton dropping on Disney Plus yesterday. Next week is going to be top 10 Broadway musicals. I'm just going to be in the hosting chair. I'm not actually going to have any part in forming it because I've never been to Broadway. I'll be finding people who I know love Broadway, and they'll be making the list. I'm just going to be hosting it. But with that, Zelius, where can people find you online?
Y'all can find me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Zalius Smith, ZA2Ds US Smith, and doing little TV movie reviews on the Star Set at Retribution Z.
Eric, where can people, apart from the Schmodown, where can people find you online?
People can find me on Twitter at Grog is here. You can find me on Letterboxd as Eric Zipper. I review movies on there, and I write for a channel on YouTube called The Completionist. So if you like video games, check out The Completionist because I'm proud of the work I do for them.
Stephen, where can people find you online?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course I'll be on Classic tomorrow.
Ryan, where can people find you online?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me on the show tonight. I appreciate it. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Also on Letterboxd at letterboxd.com/RyanMovieBuff. I have a podcast called The Nerdcast where I review movies past and present. You can find it on Anchor, Google, Spotify. Wherever you download your podcast, you can find it there. Check out our YouTube channel. It's called Nerd Culture on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at It's Nerd Culture. You can find us there. Videos are up right now. New ones are coming your way very soon. And you can find me competing in the various fan leagues in and around the interwebs. I can be there. I'll be on a couple of other shows coming up in the very near future. And I also got some special watch-alongs planned to celebrate certain films' anniversaries, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'll give you a little hint. There's one of them that's going down in August, and it centers around a group of people who are trying to save the world from Outworld and the Emperor. Yeah, I'm talking about Mortal Kombat 25th anniversary celebration in August. We're going to do it. We're going to do it loud. We're going to do it proud. So stay tuned for more details on that. Other than that, thanks for having me.
And Chris, where can people find you online?
And we're ready to find me online on Facebook. They'll be on Multiplex tomorrow with this guy over here at my team match. And you know what, Chad? I did take your advice about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the first time in my life. Maybe I don't deserve the hate that I gave it today. So I promise you did. So you guys don't private message me thing right out there. So, but thank you everybody for a great night. Eric Dipper, thank you for coming on. You were great.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. This I know it got contentious, it got a little heated, but this was fun. I always love geeking out with people.
I mean, when you get people to talk about comic book movies, this is what happens.
There will be blood, Eric. There will always be blood when it comes to talking about comic book movies, because the passion, and as John Schnepp would say, the sweatiness is always going to come out.
I mean, I think the last time we had a really heated debate would probably be when I had Rachel Silvestrini on Disney villains. So Zedius knows for sure.
I imagine Rachel getting really worked up about that.
I mean, I don't know if you've heard the stories about Rachel and her feelings about Ursula not being a villain, but But yeah, she convinced me about it, and I see the light thanks to Rachel. But anyway, you can find me tomorrow on Feature Presentation Presents in the random team match with me teaming up with Chris taking on Jimmy and Rhino Regan. You can also find me hosting Classic tomorrow. Directly after that. You can also find me hosting Full Metal Random. This week is going to be a Middle Earth match with Jay Burns, Andrea Malabak, and Tim Bracala in the fray. And you can find me over here on Take 3 Productions, where I host Late Night of Take 3 and Rankin. But until next time, just keep listening shit. And there was no technical difficulties today.
None at all.
None.